Ugh, there's your problem. If you have to play all the past games to enjoy the current one, then it's not a good game. People like you are the reason we see Batman's parents die in every movie, because you don't understand the concept of sequels. I think it's Uncle Ben that gets it the worst. What, there's been like 5 different Spider-Man movies? This guy just keeps dying. There's comics as well. Poor guy, he's just like, oh, we got another one? Yeah, sure. Well, we're gonna be looking at Murdered by Words, where people get murdered by words. No real murder, not Uncle Ben kind of thing. It's just with words this time. Enjoy. Guess who got vaccinated today? Oh, not sure what's in it, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, no offense, but you did meth. I think you will survive the vaccine. Gee, bring up the history. Ugh, what's the age gap? 9 years? I find that younger women prefer me. Naturally, that ends up with me preferring younger women, which is hilarious because in my teens, I preferred women in their 50s. Wait, so the only thing you've done with your 8-day-old account is bother female-focused subreddits and talk way too much about Alice Cooper. You also say you're involuntarily celibate, so it sounds like no women prefer you. I really don't understand the whole thing of like openly admitting you're involuntarily celibate. Like, it's like I'm a loser. Is that what it is? I don't know the thing behind it. What? Ugh, self-righteous drivel. What an example to the young. Cower at home in fearful, mindless compliance. A diaper over every orifice. Suspending critical thinking. All because of a bad cold virus. Some of us think there's more to life than panicked, inane efforts to ward off death. Can you believe that during the Blitz, Londoners all turned their lights off so the German planes wouldn't see where buildings were? What a terrible example, cowering in fear instead of going about their normal lives and getting bombed. Okay, I'll bite. If you're gonna break out the World War II comparisons, I think I can one-up you. Americans in 1944 facing almost certain death, and Americans in 2020 facing a 99.9% survival rate. Ooh. Crazy. Your grandparents had to storm a beach under machine gun fire for the good of everyone else, and all you were asked to do was stop going to the Cheesecake Factory for 5 weeks, and even that was too much of a sacrifice to ask. The thing is though, you say that, but these people probably would have turned their lights on when the Germans were bombing, and they'd be like, I can survive a bit of German bombing. What's that? There's nothing. And then there probably was people like that back in those days, and they just kept the light on, and they got bombed. You see the point? Yeah. Spain is currently being battered by Storm Filomena, with heavy snowfalls expected even at altitudes of just 200 meters. Spain records its coldest ever temperature of minus 35.8. Wow. Must be that global warming. A warmer Earth makes sudden stratospheric warming events more likely and more frequent, and those events destabilize the polar vortex, bring cold air down into the mid-latitudes, and cause the extreme weather we're experiencing right now. You're correct, it's actually due to the global warming. Yeah, I think there's a reason it's now called climate change instead of global warming, because to be fair, it is kind of confusing. For someone that hasn't researched it, they just think, oh, globe warming, but it's cold, no. McDonald's says, reply to this with a haiku about McDonald's and maybe I'll make it our Twitter bio. Wendy's replies, frozen beef circle, passed out the drive-thru window. A disappointment. Can you imagine if McDonald's just were like, all right, yeah, we'll use that. 2021 Ally Challenge. If a product, service, or company is built by either all men or all white people, you don't use your platform, social, newsletters, blogs, etc. to champion it, promote it, or help it gain traction. Yes, even if it's a portfolio company, VCs, who's in? Hey, you were writing this trash in a language evolved among white people, using the internet, which was invented almost entirely by white men. Feel free to boycott both. The world would be a better place for it. I do agree, the first one, like, that's a bit, yeah, she deserves to get a Murdered by Words, but the second one, probably not a Murdered by Words, more of like, very confidently incorrect. Each large muscle of a bodybuilder represents a language he didn't learn, a poem he didn't read, a fun fact he never memorized. Yeah, Thucydides said that the society that separates its scholars from its warriors will have its thinking done by cowards and its fighting by fools. However, you appear to be both a fool and a coward. I just don't understand that. Can you imagine, like, someone goes up to someone, hey, do you know how to speak French? Oh no, sorry, I was working on my biceps. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can't learn the language when you're working with these. I don't see how that's a point. I'm pretty sure there's probably some smart big guy. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he knows 2 languages. He's big, right? Nah, bro. Look at how she uses eyeliner to mask her awful canthal tilt. Oh, almost found myself attracted to a woman, but found out about her canthal tilt. Thanks for saving me, bro. Back to sitting in the dark for 18 hours. I don't even know what a canthal tilt is. What? Can I Google this? Oh no, her eye is a different... Oh, that is so upsetting. Who cares, bro? I'm a student and Labour is wrong to scrap my tuition fees, writes Isaac Dole. If Labour wants to get more working class people into university, it should concentrate on educating young people about the realities of student loans and repayments. Okay, Isaac Dole went to a Reading Bluecoat private school where fees are £16,685 a year. Isaac Dole is not exactly representative of ordinary people. And then he replies, hi, I'm from a single-parent family and my mum is a nurse. I was very fortunate to receive a foundation scholarship at Reading Bluecoat, which meant I didn't pay any fees at all, owing to my family's low household income. So, you're saying it was a good thing that you didn't have to pay tuition fees? Wait, what's he trying to prove it? When he says that, it's basically like him, kick the ladder behind me. He's already got to the top. I don't want anyone else to get in the same position. Oh, we have this police officer who looks very British saying, thankfully, it's been taken off the streets. And look at that, he's taken a sword off of the streets. You're doing God's work, mate. Lost an ancestor to a sword just like that in the 13th century. So more of a murdered by swords than murdered by words, but there's only one letter difference, so we're fine. Every human being deserves shelter and a meal. Yeah, okay. No, you don't pay people to exist for the same reason you don't feed bears. Yeah, man, if I give the 50-year-old lady at my bus stop some spare change for fare and a meal, she'll lose interest in foraging for desiccated salmon carcasses and lose her natural fear of people. Next thing you know, she's in the suburbs running around on all fours trying to eat a corgi. That would be a funny sight to see, but I don't think it would happen. Ashley Babbitt once harassed and chased husband's ex-girlfriend. This was the person that got shot at the Capitol building. This is unconscionable. She was just shot dead and you want to publicly destroy her legacy? For what? Hey, this you? And then he said, the truth is, George Floyd was not admirable. Not to say he didn't have redeemable qualities, but he wasn't anyone we should be modeling ourselves after. Yikes. Usually, like, the this you thing is just perfect. It destroys everyone, and it does in this. But you could say anything in response to that guy and just murder him by words, because he probably can't read anyway, let's be real. I'm a clinical neuropsychologist, and I have co-written When Crisis Strikes, 5 Steps to Heal Your Brain, Body, and Life from Chronic Stress with Dr. Jennifer Love. Ask us anything. I'm curious, you mention evidence-based, but your book has a foreword by Daniel Amen, and in this AMA you direct people to the Amen Clinic. As I'm sure you're aware, Daniel Amen is widely regarded by the medical establishment as a charlatan and a modern-day snake oil salesman. I'm curious how you reconcile your medical and clinical neuropsychological training with the pseudoscience that you're directing people towards at the Amen Clinic. Oh, this is great. My response to Karen, aka Mrs. Grinch, who wrote this charming letter to our building. Dear neighbors, what is happening with your bins? They were emptied this morning and are now full. Where do you intend to put your rubbish for the next 2 weeks? This is beyond a joke and is turning our street into a slum. Surely you have some sort of pride and respect for the neighborhood. I trust you'll sort this out so it doesn't impact negatively on us all, particularly over Christmas. From a disgusted neighbor. And then the response of, "Dear Mrs. Grinch, we hope this reaches you well. We would place this in your mailbox, but as we could tell, your name was not signed. So we addressed it to you, Mrs. Grinch. We hope you don't mind. First, we must explain to you why we are not so dumb. Since we do agree our bins look like a slum, but when you have people coming and going, buying furniture, appliances, gifts, the bins would be flowing. But the real reason, since you must know, is our bins had been stolen a few weeks ago. We searched low and high, but alas no avail, so we banded together and ordered new ones without fail. Patiently we wait for them to come in any day, but the holiday season may cause a delay. However, whilst this was going around, you were watching from your window with a very large frown, tapping your feet, watching our rubbish grow high. You mumbled and grumbled, "I can't just stand by." Being so clever, you picked up your pen and briskly wrote your little letter. Meaning well, of course, there was no question, but first to you, Mrs. Grinch, a little suggestion. We may not know your struggles, nor you with us, but a nice gesture would be appreciated instead of the fuss, especially with such a terrible year, COVID, Brexit, pubs closed, and 4 tears. So instead of being so unkind, exercise a little more empathy next time. We thank you for your letter. We hope you read this and understand better. Sincerely, the Who's at 15. You know what? That was actually a really nice and creative way of responding to her. Most people would have just said, "Shut up." Just really like, don't care. But that was great. Wow, you made it all the way to the end. You know what that means? It means you can watch another one. Isn't that great? Or you couldn't. Or you can subscribe if you're not subscribed. Please subscribe. That'd be nice. Thanks.